trusted news source, ABC6 News at Noon.
Good afternoon, everyone, and thank you for joining us. I'm Doreen Scanlon. We begin with an ABC6 News update. A 35-year-old man shot and killed in New Bedford last night. And today, officials are releasing the name of that victim, as well as new information about the moments following the shooting. ABC6 News reporter Laura Puglisi has been in the neighborhood speaking to residents all morning. She is live with the latest. Laura?
Good morning, Doreen. Yeah, the victim has been identified as 35-year-old Eric Jose Carlos of New Bedford. Police say he was found on the porch of the house right there behind me after being shot. Now, according to the Bristol County District Attorney's Office, the shooting happened last night around 6 p.m. Police received a call that a man had been shot. He was rushed to the hospital where he later died. Today, pieces of crime scene tape still remain on the house and across the street at the church. We spoke to people who live in the building and say it is an apartment. About 15 people live there. Most of them didn't want to go on camera and were still shaken up. Nearby residents say the area isn't that bad, but that house is known for crime in the past.
I saw the lights, the red and the blue police lights, but I didn't see a fire engine and I didn't see an ambulance. So I said, well, it's not an accident because there's usually accidents at that corner. And then I came down and I heard that somebody got shot and somebody died. And I'm like, are you kidding me? We don't need this in the neighborhood. It's usually pretty quiet. Down that end of the street, that house, it's awful.
Police and the district attorney's office remaining tight-lipped about any other information in the case today, including the search for the suspect. The investigation is now being handled by the New Bedford Police, Massachusetts State Police detectives assigned to the district attorney's office, and homicide unit prosecutors. As soon as we have any more information, we're going to keep you updated. This is an ongoing investigation and is still very active. But for now, live in New Bedford, I'm Laura Puglisi, ABC6 News.
Laura, thank you. And now new at noon, Rhode Island's first Republican to jump in the governor's race, Ashley Kalus. Kalus launched her campaign in a video on YouTube this morning. She is in Narragansett for a kickoff event tonight. Kalus previously ran a surgical practice and has worked on COVID testing for the last few years. She lived in Rhode Island with her husband in the mid-2000s. Her campaign says she returned to the Ocean State to assist with vaccination and testing efforts. Her company ran the McCoy Stadium test site. Warwick Mayor Frank Picozzi running for re-election. Picozzi making the announcement on Facebook this morning. He said he's heard other candidates are jumping in the race, so he wanted to let people who are asking know now. Picozzi says he will run as an independent, and he plans to pitch his service as an open and transparent mayor. There's also a candidate bowing out today. Democrat Ed Pacheco is suspending his campaign for Rhode Island's open 2nd Congressional District seat. In a letter to supporters, Pacheco said he concluded it would just be too difficult to raise the necessary funds in this campaign cycle. He says he looks forward to supporting the eventual Democratic nominee. Woonsocket firefighters made quick work of a fire on the 3rd floor of an apartment building this morning. This is video from the scene on Loring Street just before 7, right after the fire was put out. Fire officials tell us there was a minor structural damage to the porch area of the 3rd floor apartment. The city's fire marshal is investigating how it started. Nobody was hurt, no one displaced. New England Patriots owner Bob Kraft was in Rhode Island this morning. He was joined by Governor Dan McKee at the State House to announce a $40,000 donation to 2 Rhode Island nonprofit groups. The money comes from new Patriots license plates that debuted in Rhode Island last year, with proceeds going to charity. They commemorate the 6 Pats championship trophies, which were on display.
Whenever I came here, people were so kind and welcoming. And they bought a lot of season tickets. And so I developed a special connection. And I just used this event today as an excuse to come down here, because I don't come often enough, because whenever I come here, I feel good.
The 2 charities getting the donations are Man Up Incorporated and Youth in Action. Man Up provides workforce development training for adult men of color. And now to the weather and a live look outside. The sun shining bright over Providence this afternoon. Chelsea is standing by in the Weather Center with with a look at our first forecast. Hi, Chelsea.
Hey, Doreen. Yeah, nice bright day once again. It's another windy day, though. That breeze definitely picking up outside, and that makes it feel cooler. And the temperatures themselves are cooler today than yesterday. Currently sitting at 49 degrees in Providence, which is seasonable for this time of year. That breeze from the west-northwest sustained 15 to 20 miles per hour. Gusts closer to 30 miles per hour outside this afternoon. Most of us still have temperatures that are hovering in the mid to upper 40s. Again, seasonable, just cooler than yesterday. In fact, we're running about 5 to 10 degrees cooler in most locations compared to where we were yesterday at this time, and the winds don't help. The gusts are coming in at the moment anywhere from about 20 to up to 30 miles per hour, and that's going to continue to be the case for the remainder of the afternoon. The good news is it's a nice bright day once again. We have high pressure that remains in control for the rest of the day today, which leaves us with sunshine, but it's our last really sunny day for the rest of the work week and into the weekend. You can see rain off to our west. We'll start to see clouds increasing as we head through tomorrow, and then it'll be tomorrow night that we start to see rain moving into the area. So what we're looking at is sunshine for the remainder of the day today, hovering around 50 degrees. Overnight, partly clear conditions, a chilly night expected, and tomorrow those clouds really thicken up as the day goes on. Eventually rain comes in, and it looks like we have a rainy end to the work week. I'll have much more in just a few minutes. Doreen?
All right, Chelsea, thank you. And now to today's headlines. South Kingstown will get a high-profile new town manager. State Police Colonel Jim Manny will leave that job late next month and head to SK. Manny served with state police for nearly 30 years. He previously worked as town manager in Narragansett. This 3-year term will pay him $170,000 a year. And there's a new chief at the Westerly Police Department. Paul Gingerella was sworn in as chief last night. Former Chief Sean Lacey is now the town manager. Gingerella is a lifelong Westerly resident. He graduated from the high school in 1999. He's been in the force for more than 17 years, recently serving as a lieutenant. His mother pinned his badge after he was sworn in. And only one item on the agenda at tonight's Dartmouth School Committee meeting, the controversial high school logo. The Dartmouth Indian has been the school's logo for years. It was designed in 1974 by Clyde Andrews, a member of the Wampanoag tribe of Gayhedaquina. Some residents think it's disrespectful. It is featured prominently on athletic uniforms as well. Tonight's meeting will provide a chance for the public to provide feedback. It's in the high school auditorium at 6:30. There will also be a non-binding referendum vote on April 5th. In North Kingstown tonight, the school committee is expected to provide another update on the Aaron Thomas investigation. Since the last meeting, the Phase 2 report commissioned by the school committee was released. Shortly after that, Assistant Superintendent Denise Mancieri resigned, following former Superintendent Phil Laguerre, who also resigned. The investigation is expected to be addressed during the chairperson's report. And the Rhode Island Department of Education will host the first of a series of public comment meetings on state high school graduation requirements tonight. RIDE is aiming to revise those requirements. There'll be 7 public comment sessions in all, running through early May and crisscrossing the state. Tonight's meeting is at the CCRI Night Campus in Warwick at 4 o'clock. Coming up on ABC6 News at noon, we're going to head to Washington to check in on Judge Jackson's Supreme Court nomination hearing with the Rhode Island senator set to question her. Plus, the crisis in Ukraine, how Ukrainians are reacting to intensified artillery fire in the Northeast. Back now with the latest on the crisis in Ukraine. As Ukrainian forces say they retook a strategic suburb overnight, Russian forces continue to attack Mariupol. ABC's James Longman is in Lviv with the latest.
Russia may have demanded surrender from Mariupol, but this morning Ukrainian forces there are clinging on. These satellite images show smoke pouring over that besieged city. Residents have been taking shelter in underground shelters. Freezing condition, food and water increasingly scarce. President Zelensky had another powerful address last night, and he spoke directly to people there. He said, "Never think even for a moment that Ukraine does not remember you." There have been 27 days of this war, and the bravery of the Ukrainian people continues. Take a look. In the occupied city of Kherson, locals took to the streets to protest the Russian advance. But these shocking images show Russian forces firing into the crowd. At least one person there is understood to have been injured. The staggering human toll of this war is just worsening by the day. According to the United Nations, over 10 million people have now been forced from their homes. That is nearly a quarter of the entire population. President Biden has been warning about the use of chemical weapons by Russia, but also another threat from them, cyber attacks, and says they could be directed at the United States. James Longman, ABC News in Lviv, Ukraine.
And coming up, why officials are planning a controlled burn on a local island, and peak bloom, cherry blossoms flowering in D.C., a sure sign of spring.
And now, your ABC6 Storm Tracker weather with meteorologist Chelsea Priest.
Oh, it's a beautiful day across southern New England, especially if you don't consider the mild temperatures that we've had the past few days. We've made it to about 60 degrees yesterday. We were mild Sunday afternoon as well. Today, we have that full sunshine, but it is a bit cooler outside. The temperatures at the moment are in the mid to upper 40s range. 49 the Providence area right now, 46 in Smithfield, 49 in Westerly, 47 in Newport, 48 in New Bedford outside for your lunch hour. Now, the average high for this time of year is in the upper 40s. So we've been just feeling very seasonable outside today. Again, we've had a pretty long stretch this month of above average temperatures. Today, we're just feeling a bit more seasonable, and that's going to be the case in the coming days. We don't necessarily have a huge cool down in the forecast. We just start to feel like we should for this time of year. Our sunset this evening at 7 o'clock on the dot, of course, getting a little bit later and later each and every day. The other issue that we have today is that it is still quite breezy outside. Coming in sustained 10 to 20 miles per hour, and there are some gusts coming in over 20 miles per hour, around the 25 mile per hour mark in most spots. A similar wind to yesterday. It really brings a little bite to the air, even with the sunshine. If you're out and about walking around, it's breezy. It makes you feel a bit cooler. It also, with all of the dry weather that we've had the past couple of days, plus the windy conditions, it's upped our pollen counts and our fire risk. We have dry conditions. We have wind that's kind of blowing things around. So our pollen levels, this tree pollen this time of year is staying high. Maybe you're starting to feel it a bit. Thursday, we get some good rain in the forecast. We'll get some lower levels there. And then those levels start to creep up as we start to dry out into Friday. Again, the next couple of days, we'll be hovering closer to our seasonal averages. Average high in that upper 40s range today. Tomorrow, Thursday, kind of hovering around 50 degrees. A little warm up on Friday as we start to clear out and dry out eventually after that rain comes through on Thursday. Saturday, we have temperatures that are still in the 50s, but we do have a bit of a cool down for Sunday and especially into the start of next week. Morning temps on Monday may be down into the 20s, so pretty chilly out there. Satellite radar image right now shows you dry, quiet conditions. We're seeing high pressure that remains in control for today. We're going to continue to see sunshine outside for the rest of the afternoon, and we'll be partly to mostly clear as we head through tonight. It'll be late tonight and into tomorrow that you start to see clouds increasing. There's been severe weather impacting the middle portion of the country and down along the Gulf Coast especially, and that threat continues today. This low system, it's slowly making its way towards us here in southern New England. That being said, it looks like by the time it gets here, we have rain in the forecast. Maybe a few rumbles of thunder, but that would be about it in terms of any sort of severe weather. We stay dry and clear for the rest of the day today. We are dry and clear overnight. You get a little bit of sunshine tomorrow morning. From there, increasing clouds. We're dry through the day tomorrow. It'll be tomorrow night that late at night rain starts to move in, and Thursday really looks like a pretty rainy day, and some of that continues to linger into Friday. It takes a little while for us to dry out and clear out. So enjoy the sunshine we have today. It's one of our few days in the 7-day forecast that we have mainly sunny conditions. Again, it's breezy, a little bit cooler, but a nice day besides the wind. Mainly clear overnight, a cool night overnight, even with a light breeze. We're going to feel much cooler. And then tomorrow, upper 40s, increasing clouds. Again, we're dry for the day. It's overnight that rain arrives. Thursday looks like a rainy day. Some of that rain lingers into Friday morning before we very slowly clear out. We don't get a ton of sun this weekend, but some mixes in with the clouds at times. Doreen?
All right, Chelsea, thank you. Tornadoes touching down in Texas and Oklahoma overnight, causing major damage to homes, businesses, and schools. Officials in Texas confirm one person died, a 73-year-old woman. 10 others were injured. At least 19 reported tornadoes tore through Texas in the last day. In Oklahoma, the tornado damaged several homes and a roof collapsed right on top of an RV.
In 5 minutes, and it was over, you know. I mean, it was literally gone, the devastation. It's unbelievable.
I'm just trying to help the county clean the roads up here. Trees are down. As you can see, my neighbor's house is tore up.
The system is now heading towards Louisiana, Mississippi, and Alabama, expected to hit those areas tonight into tomorrow. Well, Rhode Island Senator Sheldon Whitehouse will begin his questioning of Supreme Court nominee Ketanji Brown Jackson any moment now. As a member of the Senate Judiciary Committee, he is one of 22 senators who will question Jackson during her confirmation hearings. She is the first black woman to be nominated to the U.S. Supreme Court, and if confirmed, she would be the second working mother serving on the court. Republicans have called her soft on crime, but Democrats do not need any Republican support to confirm Judge Jackson to the bench. Well, don't be worried if you see flames on Dutch Island in the next month or so. The Rhode Island DEM is planning a one-day controlled burn on the island, although the exact date isn't known yet. It will depend on the conditions. The property is in Narragansett Bay between Jamestown and North Kingstown. The burn is meant to help the area, reducing invasive plants and promoting new growth. And a sure sign of spring, the cherry blossoms in Washington, D.C. are at peak bloom, according to the National Park Service. But you better act fast if you want to see them. It only lasts about a week before the petals start to fall off. A pick of the litter is next here at noon. Today, meet Otis. This guy could use some love. Learn more about him coming up next.
Pick of the Litter. Brought to you by Moriarty's Invisible Fence.
Welcome back. It's Tuesday. That means it's time for Pick of the Litter. We have our friends from the ISPCA here today, and you guys have brought Otis. Yes. And Otis is we need to find him a good home.
We do.
He's been looking for a while now. So tell us a little bit about Otis, Livia.
So Otis came to the SPCA from a hoarding case in Oklahoma back in January.
Okay.
He's been in foster care for 2 months with his awesome foster mom, who has helped him come out of his shell and has gotten a little bit of weight on him because he was very skinny.
Okay.
And he's been up for adoption for a little over a month, and we've gotten no interest on him.
Oh no.
So we're hoping that we can get him a little bit of interest. He stays in foster home during the week, and he comes into the shelter during the weekend. So that was when we have, and then if somebody wanted to meet him during the week, they could set up an on-the-spot meet and greet, and we can have him come in. And
otherwise, he's in the shelter for the weekends when there's more foot traffic. Now, we were talking a lot of times here during the Pick of the Litter. We have some high energy dogs, and we talk about the high energy that they need to have. Otis is kind of just your chill office buddy.
Yeah, Otis loves sitting with his mom while she works from home.
Okay.
He is he's not the best employee, but he's good emotional support. He likes to just lay under her computer and help her. But
so I'm assuming besides like the general walks and whatnot,
you
don't need to get too much energy
out of Otis. Pretty much a couch potato.
Okay. And how old is he?
He's 7 years old.
7 years old. All right. So we need to find Otis a good home. It is time. He has spent a wonderful amount of time with his foster mom, so thank you for that. But it's time to get him his forever home. So if you are interested in Otis, you can contact the ISPCA. Phone number is 401-438-8150. You can visit the website, the Facebook page, and reach out to find out more about Otis. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
All right, thank you. Still to come, he's done it again. Tom Hanks surprising a bride and posing for some photos. Plus, Chelsea has another look at your afternoon forecast right after this. Well, finally this afternoon, a Hollywood photo bomb. Tom Hanks crashed a wedding photo session in Pittsburgh, posing for photos with the bride and the bridal party and congratulating everyone. Hanks is in Pittsburgh shooting a movie called A Man Called Otto. So he did this before, remember?
Yes.
So I'm thinking, what if I just, tweet him
and
let him know your wedding date?
That could happen.
He can come crash your wedding.
We'd love to have him. We would love to
just in case. His wife Rita Wilson was there too.
And Rita, bring your wife. Sure, absolutely. That's very exciting for sure. We are looking at more sunshine outside today. It is a breezy day, but still try and get out and enjoy the sun if you can. Temps are in the low 50s today. Tomorrow, clouds slowly start to increase. We eventually have rain coming in. Thursday looks like a really rainy day. And a lot of that lingers into Friday. It's going to take a while for things to really start to dry out and clear out. And even into the weekend, I don't think we get nice and bright. I think we dry out a bit, but we are still looking at a mix of some sun and clouds on Saturday. Temperature should still be decent in the mid-50s, but then we actually cool down. Sunday, mostly cloudy, a few sprinkles around. And on Monday of next week, temperatures are chilly, 20s to start the day, and afternoon highs actually below average. I haven't been saying that much this month. Even our little cool down that we're experiencing in the coming days is at least seasonable. You know, we haven't had many below average days.
I was so hoping those days were behind us.
March is tricky.
Never
is
can.
tricky.
All right, thanks, Chelsea. And thank you for joining us for the News at Noon. The news continues first at 4. Have a great afternoon, everybody.